Hey there, welcome back to Bishop's Garage. I'm Bishop. My yard is my garage, and my tennis court back there is my garage, so is my driveway. Today I'm going to be trying my hand at some welding. I've had absolutely no training, no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to try to repair a small bracket on the back of our seat here. That is our front driver's seat for our 1974 Volkswagen, and Volkswagen bus. Yeah. Come along with me, watch me fumble through this. Let's get to it. What we've got here is a Forney Easy Weld 125 FC. It's a flux core. It's got an auto feeder with it. That's one of these. So you just push this trigger, and that sets up your feed for your wire. I've done some reading and I've done a few videos. I've got some friends that are going to go ahead and show me and train me up on this, but you know what? Right now I'm just going to kind of fart around with this and see what I can do. On our seat here, what I do need to do is I do need to clean this up. You can see where it's broke here. It's supposed to be like this, and it is currently like that. It just kind of cracked in here. Stress fatigue, no doubt. I'm going to go ahead and grab some vice grips, see if I can't close that gap, and then I'm just going to try to weld it shut, and I might put a small piece of metal on the inside here and try to fill that in and reinforce that. But first, I do know that one of the things I need to do is to clean the area up to take the rust off of there, because that has it's spattering problems with welding. I don't know, we'll see. I do have my helmet for safety. I've got some decent large leather gloves. And this truly isn't the first time I've tried this. I have tried on a couple of pieces of very thin 20 gauge steel. So I know at least how to start the spark. So, well, let's see how this is gonna work. All right, so we have the metal on the back of our seat clean. Let's go ahead and take a look. You can see how it's reasonably shiny. We've gotten rid of the rust. Now I do know that this being part of the completing the welding circuit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sand this spot here so we get a really good ground as well before we start. We're going to be safe about this. I got this off of Amazon, and it's got a battery. It auto senses as soon as the brightness hits. I've tested that before, works really good. So well, with safety in mind, let's go ahead and see if we can't kind of zit these together and fix our seat. All right, well, let's keep the fires to a minimum. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I got a sheet of something underneath there. Exciting. All right, so it looks like we've got our welding done here. We'll go ahead and give that a minute to dry off. We have a reasonable seam on this side. Looks good on that side. Let's go ahead and give it a spray paint so we don't get any rust, and we'll call that good. All right, well, we've had a very entertaining time with this. We've got our bracing fixed, repaired, welded in spot, and most likely, just because this has got one of these darts on it, what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to use some hog rings, and I've already allowed for that. And let's go ahead and take this inside, and we're going to go ahead and get this reupholstered now. All right, so the bottom has another one of these drawstrings that goes all the way around. So we're just going to go ahead and cut that out of here. Looks like we have some creative hog ring in here. once we get this all torn down, what we're going to do is we're going to inspect our springs, and if anything needs to be replaced, we're going to try to fix those. Something like this, though, I don't know if I'll be able to fix, but well, we'll see. The cool part really is when I'm going to put it together, not the taking it apart. Yeah, take a look at that. You can see over the years how the foam has just come apart and pushed through like a cheese grater. Don't know where these burn marks come from, but certainly you could see that even then it was just pushed right through those springs. Well, looks like we got a busted spring right here in the middle. All right, we have our seat clean. We need 1 spring, 2 springs, 3 springs. We need one of these front little coil springs that reaches down to here. And we also need this main back spring. Let's go ahead and see if we can source some of those.
Two weeks later.
Taking a look at our seat here, now that we have cleaned it up, given it a spray down, we have this broken spring here. You can see it's broken here. It's missing a chunk. This spring here has snapped here. You can see both edges here. And this one on this side likewise is missing about that much of the spring. So we're going to take this spring, we're just going to leave this one in place, and this spring, which we're going to leave in place, and we're going to put part of this curlicue one. We're going to cut the end off, cut this end off, and then we're going to use this kind of spring here. Boy, that's really tough. And we're going to put it in here at a sharp angle and kind of shaped like that. And that should restore some spring in this spot. Got a bag of these off of Amazon. You can see that there's varying sizes here, and we're just going to put one sleeve on the spring with a broken piece on that side, clamp it down, and that'll restore our spring. So let's go ahead and get to it. the sleeve here and we just crush it at each end. There we go. Done. Spring works again. All right, a couple of days later and about 1,000 gallons of rain later, we're back to having some sunshine. So let me go over what I've done on the seat here. You can see I have replaced the busted link here, and I baling wired that down. That should be good enough. I'll be putting some juke on top of this to protect that, so that shouldn't go anywhere. So this is one of the coil springs. We're looking at this is the front of the seat here, back, rest, driver's seat. So the second spring from the back here, it had broken here, so I used a crush joint in here to repair that. This spring here was gone, so what I've done, you can see I don't have a coil here, but I at least have this spring replacement here. It's from a kit that I got off of Amazon to repair couches that sag or lose their own springs. It's a little thicker than the original spring material. It was really tough to bend. I'm suspecting it'll give the reasonable amount of support that one would expect off of a 50 or 60-year-old chair. Yeah, you can see where the original spring is broke here. I just replaced the entire coil or looping coil up to here, and it's anchored up here. We had a missed spring in here, so I have replaced this one, crushed this one in here. We had a missing hoop-de-doo here, or at least it was split here. So I've crushed that back together again to give that the front part here some spring. And this one was likewise broken. Oddly enough, it matches this side that was broken. And so I've replaced that with the couch hoop-de-doo. And that should give us a good sturdy base to return this chair. Oh, this one on the middle of the back as well for support. This is all back in place. I've also gone through, and wherever any of these connectors were missing, I've replaced those connectors. So, well, it should be good enough for common usage for quite a few years to come, and as long as we're gentle on it, I don't think we'll bust any more of the springs. As soon as you get one spring broken, and then suddenly all of the others are having to carry that load, they're likewise going to probably fail sooner. But now that we've got everything leveled out, as a whole group, the springs will be able to support anybody's, well, most people's butt sitting in the van. All right, thanks for coming by. We've done a lot today. We've replaced a lot of springs, showed you some creative ways to kind of use some couch repair springs to get us to where we need to be on our seat. Next episode up, we're going to go ahead and see if we can't actually reupholster this thing. Thanks for coming by. Click subscribe down below if you like. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I drop new content in. And I just want to thank you for coming by. Send me some comments. Let me know what you think, if you like what you see. And we'll do more of this, and we'll get back to Jerry Offen, and we'll go ahead and see what we can't do about, well, the new blue edition that we're working on with my bud Jason. So, all right, until I see you next time, thanks for coming by. We'll see you.